Hey guys, sorry I'm a minute late. I was really trying to find a good place to set up and I got sidetracked talking to a couple awesome people here in Portland. So welcome. I am here live from the World Parkinson Congress in Portland, Oregon, and it's been a long day, but it's been so awesome. We are at the convention center in Oregon or in Portland rather, and today's session has been all focused around building your healthcare team, and it's been really informative and really fun. So I can't wait to share all about what I learned and really kind of reframe what we think about when it comes to building your personal healthcare team. So if you're tuning in, welcome again. My name is Sarah King. I am a Parkinson's physical therapist. I'm a founder of Invigorate Physical Therapy and Wellness in Austin, Texas. My practice is 100% specialized in Parkinson's, which is why I'm here this week. Hi, Sharon. Hello from Montana. It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And Debbie, they're all coming in now. Hey, guys. So I wrote some notes. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I wrote copious amounts of notes, and I'm going to try and sum up 8.5 hours of an awesome conference in about 20-30 minutes. And if you guys have any questions while I go, you can put them in the comments, and I'll try and get to them as I go, see what I can answer for you guys. So as I was saying, what today focused around was building your healthcare team and really empowering you as a person with Parkinson's or a care partner of someone with Parkinson's to really take control and build your team to fit you and not necessarily build your team to fit what the healthcare kind of professionals dump on you. And I can say that with love because I'm a healthcare professional. Sometimes we impose our will upon our clients without knowing that we're not looking out for their best interests. We think we are, but really we're not building a team around them. So, hi Jackie. Yeah, I'm anxious to tell you about my day too. So, the day started with Michael Okun and boss Bloem, who is from the Netherlands, who I had to ask about how to say his name. But they are movement disorder specialists. I'm sure some of you have heard about Dr. Okun and Dr. Bloem, and they were fantastic presenters. And so they really wanted to talk about coordinating our care for people with Parkinson's and trying to give this really comprehensive care to you guys without overwhelming you and making it still about you and not just about going to see every single doctor that there is known to man that could address your specific symptoms. I'm sure there are some people out there, some of you who have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, or maybe you're caring for someone who has, and you just have super doctor fatigue. It's like every symptom, you go into the doctor feeling like you have 2 symptoms and you come out diagnosed with 8, and all of a sudden you're like, man, now I have 8 more specialists that I have to go see about, my neurologist is managing my Parkinson's, or maybe his nurse is, a physical therapist is helping me with my walking, an occupational therapist is helping me get dressed, speech therapist is helping me with speaking, and then I feel anxious, so I have to go see this psychologist, and we just throw all this stuff in. You guys were like, oh, you've got this, I've got this great resource to help you address that symptom, and we forget to take a step back and think, what's best for you, or what's your goals? So while you are seeing so many physicians, I want you to keep in mind a few things, which is something was centered, kind of point centered today, was we as healthcare practitioners are here for you. We have all kinds of knowledge about different fields and different specialties, and they should be used as tools to help you unlock your best self, your most functional self, your most happy self, your highest quality of life possible. And just because there are professionals that specialize in everything that could possibly go wrong with the human body doesn't necessarily mean that you have to see all of them every year or twice a year or whatnot. I'm getting a lot of thumbs up, so it sounds like you guys probably resonate with that. So the most important thing about this is I want you to go in to your next to your next physician's appointment any healthcare appointment and think, what are my goals for life? What do I want to be able to achieve? What's important to me? And this was something that was really emphasized, this question as a healthcare practitioner. I shouldn't be asking you, okay, tell me what's the matter with you. Instead, I should be asking you what matters to you. And those are two very different questions. And when you ask the second, what matters to you, the plan of care is much different and much more specialized and tailored to you and your goals. So with every, I'm getting a lot of great looks here. With every, to reconnect. Sorry if y'all are there. Sorry if I lost you for a second. Okay. So, hi Patty, hi Cheryl, thanks for joining, guys. So I think I was saying, you want to make sure that your physician is asking you what matters to you. What do you want to achieve? And just because you have a symptom doesn't necessarily that it needs to be medicated out the wazoo. It doesn't have to be front and center. But it should be tailored to what's most important for you. So I want to empower you to think, to be a participant in your care and to be a provider, a partner with your provider, instead of just having this prescription forced on you and feeling like, okay, because they wear the lab coat, I've got to listen to what they say. I've got to take every medication, and it centers around you, and that's what we're here for. So we're here for you guys. So to play a participatory role in a program that's tailored to you. So the next thing that Dr. Bloem really touched on was that something I found really interesting is, and I'll just read a quote that he said, is those who fight their diagnosis of Parkinson's have a poorer prognosis. And I don't want that to sound like fighting. Fighting is, in this terms, means fighting the fact that you are diagnosed instead of fighting for your life. Those are two different things. And so the people who, he says, can really accept that diagnosis from an empowered way, which healthcare providers need to be helping you do, to accept that diagnosis and then take action. And with the healthcare team focus, taking action means, okay, what are my goals? What do I want to achieve in life? And who do I need to seek out? Who do I need to bring onto my team? Instead of you going to them and losing all your power, who do I need to bring into my team to help me achieve my goals? And so your prognosis is so much better if you can go in to every appointment with acceptance of your diagnosis. Doesn't mean that you're going to lay down and fight no more. It just means, okay, I have this diagnosis, now what can I do about it? And so another thing, instead of asking your physician or your healthcare provider, what does my future hold? That's a common question after you get diagnosed with Parkinson's. What does my future hold? Well, no one knows that, including your physician, or anyone for that matter, except for you. Instead asking, what can I do today to make my future better? And those are two very different mindsets, and they're two very different questions. So I invite you from today forward, instead of asking or wondering or being anxious about what my future holds, instead say, what can I do today to make my future better? And that's really going to help you feel empowered around your diagnosis and around your plan going forward. You'll be invested in it, you'll be enthusiastic about it. And just ready kind of to tackle the world. And then as you're going, making sure that you're giving feedback to your healthcare providers, making sure that you really gather information about yourself, how the new treatments affected you, and being very detailed. A lot of people have symptoms that they're afraid to share with their healthcare provider, or they're ashamed. We had one woman share today that she was on a dopamine agonist and it was ruining her life because it made her very compulsive, very addictive behaviors that she hid from her family, and she never brought it up to her providers because they never asked, and she was too ashamed to bring it up. And so anything that you are doing and not feeling good about in your day-to-day, bring it up to your provider. Don't be afraid to bring it up just to be thrown another pill. You get to dictate what your plan holds and what your really what your future holds too. So I'm seeing people tuning in. Hi, Leanne from Massachusetts. Mary Jane from Wisconsin. Leanne asks, is this information good for Parkinsonism? Definitely. So Parkinsonism is like the giant umbrella term. If you have Parkinsonism and not definitely a diagnosis of Parkinson's specifically, this still applies to you. You can form that patient-centered healthcare team around you. And then hi Mark, Beth and Mark from Michigan. Hey guys, welcome. So that was the really big hitters. I also saw a presentation about music included in therapy and in your treatment. And the presentation was by a physical therapist. His name's Matt Ford. And he was just talking about how music is the common language. And I know if my husband's tuning in, he'll resonate with this. But I bet if I asked all of you out there who are tuning in right now, who here doesn't like music or doesn't feel affected and influenced and empowered or doesn't feel music? And no one in the entire hall of 500 people raised their hand to say that they disliked music. And so it's this common language between all of us, and using music, whether it's as a healthcare provider, whether it's in our waiting rooms, whether it's during an appointment with someone, as a client or a patient, using music in your therapy to empower you, using music when you go in and out of an appointment, just using music to really cue your brain to hit these different brain waves to help you really change your brain chemistry and feel empowered and get moving. It was a really powerful presentation, and I wish I could recreate it, but you need a lot of music. So if you haven't gotten into music, create a playlist. One really great piece of information he shared was the optimal beats per minute when you're walking should be at least 125 beats per minute, and you musicians out there will probably relate to this more than the non-musicians, but music has a certain beat, has a certain tempo, and he said that 125 when you're walking, when you're exercising, is an excellent tempo to try and keep up with when you're exercising. And it just so happens that a lot of Johnny Cash's songs, I Walk the Line and such, have a really good beat to them. So next time you're working out or walking or doing whatever, put on some music. I got some thumbs up. Sounds like y'all are music fans out there. So put on some music, go for a walk. You'll feel better. You'll just feel more empowered, and you'll move better too. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Let me look over my notes here real fast. Oh, something really fascinating too that I think you'll see in our future is this concept of telemedicine or telehealth. And there may be some people here on the call that see a physician via Skype or even just via email or via phone. This is actually, a medium for telehealth right here, Facebook Live. I'm accessing you all from Portland, Oregon, and we've got people in Crested Butte, Colorado, and, we've got Maryland, and I see everyone. So that's definitely the way that healthcare is going to have to go. And for the exact reason of y'all are not here for a reason. You didn't have access to this, whether it's financial, physical, transportation, just infrastructure. Y'all couldn't get here. And this is where all the information is. And you need to get to the point where the information is. And technology is really bridging that gap. And so there was a lot of talk about bringing telemedicine and telehealth to the Parkinson's population, and there are many, many clinicians that are doing this. I personally have not done this to a large extent because I don't feel comfortable with it quite yet, doing telemedicine from long distance, but movement disorder specialists are actually able to do your initial evaluation via Skype because they just need to lay their eyes on you. And so that's coming down the pipeline. And something really interesting that y'all could probably relate to is out of the 100% of the time spent going to see a physician, 80% of it is in travel or wait time, and only 20% of it is with the clinician. And I bet a lot of you here would say, I don't even get 20% of that time. I get 7 minutes with my provider and then I'm out the door. And so telehealth really flips that over to where 70 to 75% of your time spent is with the provider face to face, or virtually face to face, and only 30% of your time is spent connecting and getting the technology set up. And so you have so much more time with your provider, plus you actually have access to them, and you get to access them from your own home and feel comfortable. And have your family with you. And so telehealth, I would encourage y'all to keep an eye on that. I'm going to do my best with Invigorate, see what we can incorporate from a telemedicine perspective. I don't know all the laws and the regulations, but if you're out there and you're a healthcare professional, I know I've talked with other Parkinson's PTs about doing telemedicine. And so if you are even kind of keeping your ear to the ground, seeing if there's a movement disorder specialist who would be able to see you via Skype. Maybe at a close by clinic, you could call them up and say, I can't get in. Do you have telemedicine options? And they might be able to see you via Skype. If they weren't going to before, you are definitely a business opportunity that they should pay attention to. I got people texting me, I love you guys, but okay. All right, and the other fascinating thing was the emphasis on having a movement disorder specialist. I cannot emphasize enough, if you have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, you need to be seeing a movement disorder specialist who is a neurologist who's specialized in movement disorders. Again, I know access is an issue for a lot of people, but they just have a little bit more time to spend with you, and they're a little more focused on your specific problems. But that kind of brings me to these other professionals that are quote-unquote new kids on the block to the healthcare professional team that you should keep in mind if you're having some specific issues. So I did not know what a neuro-ophthalmologist was until today. I will admit that. Neurology plus ophthalmology in your eyeballs smashed together. So if you're having issues with blurred vision, if you're having issues with double vision, I made a list here somewhere. Of course, I can't find it. If you're having issues with blepharospasm spasm, which is when your eyes contract really hard, closed, and you can't get them open, a neuro-ophthalmologist may be a good option for you. And there are some in the Austin area. Haven't really looked in detail, but they may be able to give you more information on how to correct your vision, because I bet if you're out there and you have Parkinson's, you probably have some type of vision issues or issues with your eyes. So if you're not getting the answers you want, a neuro-ophthalmologist may be a good resource for you. Okay, and then another person on the team that I hadn't really given a lot of thought to is a dentist. People diagnosed with Parkinson's have a lot of issues with their oral, whether it's drooling or swallowing issues. Typically they have a lot more pain in their mouth and a lot more cavities and whatnot. And a dentist will actually help you not just with your teeth and your pain, but with facial movements and swallowing issues. And so if you are having any issues just with your mouth in general, obviously a speech therapist is a good place to go, but a dentist can also be a really helpful resource to go see there. Something I learned about dentistry specifically was if you have any type of anesthesia and you are on an MAOB inhibitor for your Parkinson's, they need to be very careful about your anesthesia. In general, I think that's true of any person who is older. Anesthesia affects you differently, but especially if you are on an MAOB inhibitor, you need to make sure your dentist knows that if they're going to do any type of anesthesia with you. Okay, I've just been blabbering on here. I'm trying to find any other highlights. Let's see. Hi, Jessica from Omaha. I'm happy you're here. All right. Let's see. Okay, in this last part, I just wanted to say we had a wonderful person diagnosed with Parkinson's up on the stage today. His name's Han, and he was so sweet and entertaining and fun. But we asked him, as a patient, as someone who's on the receiving end of all these, do you ever feel overwhelmed by how many patient or how many doctors we're forcing on you, how many different appointments you have to make. And some of you might, that might resonate with some of y'all too. How much is too much? We asked him. Is it overkill to say that there are 25 people who can address your symptoms and here's information about all of them? Or, should we do it in a specific way that's less overwhelming? And, he just said, it depends on what goals I have, which I thought was really empowering, because he didn't say, yeah, it's really overwhelming and I can't get to them all. He said, well, I go in and I know what I want to achieve in my life and what's important to me. And so you give me all the information you think I can handle, and I will take that responsibility and decide what I want to pursue. And so I hope that going forward, y'all can take that approach too. Just feeling so empowered, because you guys are the center of our healthcare team. Everything should be tailored to you. And so I want to just give you a moment to say, this is my team, this is my plan, this is my life, and I can get out of it whatever I want. So with all of that being said, that kind of sums up a lot of the big information from me. So I am headed to dinner here and enjoying Portland. I'm sorry, the sun's shining right in my face, but I'm going to be back every day for the next 4 or 5 days, just talking about what I've learned here. And I would encourage you guys, if you are interested in the Parkinson's Booster Program, which I'm launching early next week, we'll talk a little bit more about, but it's a 5-week online Parkinson's exercise program. It's again more telehealth, more virtual training. And so if you're interested in that, you can head over to invigoratept.com/booster and get on the waiting list, and we'll make sure that we send it out to y'all. So tomorrow will be another day. I hope you guys will join me. I see Mindy and Carol and Mark. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you guys. And if you're in Portland, find me. I'm the one with the big obnoxious backpack and big water bottle. So I'm here. Come find me. All right. Bye, guys. Maybe.